do you envision that will help children?
What are you talking about?
Whenever someone gets arrested for a crime, they get booked into a jail, their child can't go with them. Just like if I got arrested tonight, my child couldn't go with me. So it's not about family separation.
Well, the interesting thing about your argument is that these people committed no crimes.
You enter the United States illegally, it's a crime. It's 8 U.S.C.
So we're already off to a crazy start. And I just don't really understand these discussions. So basically he's saying that, yeah, if you commit a crime, you're separated from your children. That's true. That's even true in America. If you commit a crime here, they're not going to arrest you and your children. They're just going to arrest you. I guess the Democrat is saying, well, they haven't committed a crime. They have done nothing wrong. Sneaking into a country, that's a crime. Like, I get it. America is supposed to be the most open. We're the nicest. We're the best country. But you're not allowed to sneak across a border. If you were to try to do that in any other country, bruh, I think our consequences for that are actually a little more lenient than other countries. But come on, man. Don't try to sit here and act like that's not a real crime. That's a crime, man. Don't do that.
The 8 United States Code 1325 is a crime to enter the United States illegally.
Let me make sure that I have your name correct, sir. Mr. Holman, sir. What type of policy do you envision that will help children?
What are you talking about? What policy do you envision to help children? Bro, first of all, the discussion earlier in this video wasn't even about children. It was about parents coming into the country illegally. But I'm not going to speak too soon, man. I'm LFR Jojo. We're checking out an ICE director having to explain to a parent or Democrat, whatever the crap, that entering America illegally is illegal. Like, I'm surprised that this is even a discussion. But here we go again, back with the reaction.
In harm's way with their parents usually, or some significant person in their lives, have the opportunity to be in a safe, secure, wholesome environment.
Well, first of all, your question about raising your hands, if you would have said if I support zero tolerance, I would have raised my hand. Not family separation, zero tolerance. You seem to confuse those two issues.
Okay, well, if you would, I'm going to ask that you kindly address my question, but since you raised zero tolerance, I'm not sure what you mean by zero tolerance. Are you saying zero tolerance, no one ever coming to the United States? Is that your zero tolerance policy?
No, you're referring to family separations that have happened under numerous presidents, not just this president. But zero tolerance.
I'm referring to they're talking about the presidency under Donald Trump, because everything wrong with America happened under Donald Trump. Every time I watch these videos, I'm just playing, but that's what these videos make it seem like. So they're talking about how he has a zero tolerance policy for sneaking into the country illegally, even if it's for parents and children. And if we're being fair, that's honestly the only policy you can have when it comes to getting into a place illegally. Because if that wasn't the only policy, let's be honest, people just use that as a loophole to getting into America and getting free citizenship. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to come to America. I'm saying that when it comes to illegally crossing the border, there needs to be rules in place to stop that, and that's all he's saying. What the Democrat is saying is that no, it doesn't matter. If they're with their children, they should be allowed to come in here, and they should have a special set of rules. But that's not really putting America's interests at the forefront. You're putting, I guess, foreigners' interests at the forefront, because if someone is illegally crossing the border, you're holding them to a lower standard of government than you're holding the American citizens, because when we do something illegally, we're expected to be reprimanded. Whereas if other citizens of different countries do something illegally, you want a special ruling set into place so that they can break the law, but we can't break the law. So how is that benefiting American citizens at the end of the day? You're not trying to benefit American citizens. You could care less about American citizens when it comes to this. Even though, ironically, the people who are getting across the border illegally are trying to become American citizens. So you want them to start their citizenship with an illegal act that is justified by the government? I really want to understand what you're trying to get at when you say that it should be a special set of rules in place for those who try to get across the border illegally with the children.
What you're referring to is family separation, zero tolerance that was put in place by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. It was zero tolerance to prosecute those who knowingly, intentionally violate our laws.
So, and supporting that policy, you would support family separation then?
Whenever someone gets arrested for a crime, they get booked into a jail, their child can't go with them. Just like if I got arrested tonight, my child couldn't go with me. So it's not about family separation.
Well, the interesting thing about your argument is that these people committed no crimes.
You enter the United States illegally, it's a crime. It's 8 U.S.C.
No, no,
8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime to enter the United States illegally.
It is not a crime, it's a civil offense.
No, sir, it is not. It's a violation of Criminal Code, Title 8, United States Code 1325, illegal entry in the United States. First offense is a misdemeanor, second offense, if you've been ordered, removed, and returned, is a felony.
What is he talking about? Is not a crime, it's a civil offense. No, it's a crime. You are literally breaking into the country. And I'm not saying they don't have good justifications. I'm not saying that. But for you to sit here and say that's not a crime, that is insane. He's giving you the crime code. He knows it's a crime. He's the director of ICE. It is a crime. Stop trying to justify, trying to stand on a moral high ground saying you're taking children away from their families. What do you think happens if you go to prison in America? You are taken away from your family. Like, you don't see 6-bedroom households in prison systems. Like, you don't see the 6-bedroom households in prison systems. 3,000 square foot homes in a state penitentiary. No, your family is not there. It's just you serving the time for crimes lower than that. So I just don't understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to say you're separated from your families. Okay, citizens here are separated from their families when they commit a crime. What's the difference? Oh, the difference is that narrative doesn't really sit well with the narrative that you're trying to paint. That's the real problem. I just hate the fact that I have to even defend this, that I have to sit here and say this, because to me, this is not even a political stance. It's just common sense.
I agree with that. I don't differ with you on that point. But you would then separate the children.
If you have no option, if someone's being prosecuted and getting sent to U.S. Marshal's custody or to the local jail, the child can't go with them. Happens to U.S. families every day across the country. I think what we're seeing today could have been prevented if Congress was to close the loopholes we've asked them to close. I mean, we proved back in FY 14 and 15 when I worked for Secretary Jay Johnson, who I respect greatly. You know, he let us build family detention, to hold family units in the family residential center long enough to see a judge, and it took about 40, 45 days. And most of them, 90%, lost their cases, and we sent them home. And the numbers went down. It worked. So we're asking Congress, look, we've already proved this worked under the Obama administration. How come we're not doing it now? You know, so I think Congress needs to fix this loophole. Let us detain families. If they're really escaping fear and persecution and death, I don't see a problem in being in a family residential center with medical care, pediatricians, child.
The problem is that what you're trying to propose, they don't really care about the well-being of the families. They just want it to fit their narrative. That's what I see of it, because if you really cared about the well-being of these families, you'll be trying to do what's ever in the best interest of these families. Keep them together. Great. Keep them all together. Keep them detained together. But no, you don't want to do that. What is the goal here? Oh yeah, let's just let them in the country. That doesn't work. No other country on earth ever does that. I can't just up and go to Japan just because I feel like going to Japan. That doesn't work, and get citizenship. No country does that. But it's like the citizens here, I guess this Democrat or whatever, it's like you're just trying to paint this fake picture that you're just on a moral higher ground. Like, yeah, he's anti-family. He hates families. No, it's anti-crime. It's like, it's not really that deep to where he's trying to separate families. No, it's just illegal to enter into a country without going through the proper means of citizenship. That's any country, any time frame. It's just what it is. Unless you're trying to colonize the country, then that's a completely different discussion. But come on, bro. Like, keep the families together. He just proposed that, but it was shut down by the same people who are saying you're trying to keep families apart.
Psychologists on staff, 3 squares a day, 6 sets of new clothes. access to lawyers, access to families. These are open air campus facilities. If it saves a life, and that's what I've been testifying the last 4 times. This isn't just about securing our border. This isn't just about enforcing laws. It's about saving lives. It's about 31% of women being raped. If we close these loopholes, we're going to save women from being sexually assaulted. We're going to save children from dying, and we're going to stop bankrolling criminal cartels who are making millions of dollars a day because of the laziness of this country not to fix the loopholes.
Bro, that's facts, man. And it's like he's trying to ignore the fact that just letting people in the country illegally because they have children won't cause a mass plethora of problems. I literally just saw a video yesterday of a woman trying to smuggle drugs into the country using her son, like her physical son. She picked him up and was trying to smuggle drugs through his body. And I'm not saying that this is a common thing. I'm not saying that at all. But you're trying to sit here and say, oh, you're trying to separate families. No. By having these loopholes in place to where somebody can illegally get into the country just by having a child or having a family or being a woman or being a man, bro, that's going to cause a crazy amount of problems, man. And stop trying to pretend like you don't know that. I refuse to believe that you don't know that, because if you don't know that, then why are you even in this position to debate these type of issues? You obviously don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, if y'all have any more suggestions for me, comment them down below. And I will see y'all on the next one.